first hour when you're going crazy. The second hour of the 130, they put you in the cold water. It's called surf torture. Now they don't call it surf torture because it's a kindly, gentle word. It's called surf acclimation. They put you out there. No one's quick. It's only been an hour. Maybe a couple of guys have. And you're in the Pacific Ocean, which is never warm. You're all linked arms. You're sitting there and the waves are crashing over you. I went through winter hell weeks, which is cold. The Pacific Ocean is like 50 degrees. It was 49 this particular night in my third hell week. And what it does is it makes your mind flip out. We've been doing this now for 3 weeks, being in this water. But for some reason now, the water is colder than it's ever been. It's not. Our minds are fragile. We can process a day. It's hard to process 130 hours. There's no end. There's no end. So the mind starts to ramp up. So you're sitting there, it's quiet, no one's yelling at you, you hear the ocean, and you're freezing. And your mind goes spastic, starts to think, I have another 129 hours. You're not going home, you're getting yelled at, you're going to be frozen. So you panic, you freak out, and you want to quit. What I realize about the mind is those people who can be in that time and embrace that time and be in that moment and now allow the mind to go to 129 hours on hour one. It's the control that we don't have in our minds. It's the control that you had to have for 3 months when you're miserable, when you're suffering, when you're laying on the floor, when you're doing all the disciplines it takes to be a monk. You cannot think about the whole process. It will make you, it will make you so insanely crazy. It's impossible. It's inhumane what I'm about to do to myself. You have to be able to break all these big, humongous, painful things in life down to the smallest molecule. Because that's all the brain can handle. The brain can't handle hours and hours and hours of suffering. But it can handle right now, I'm in the Pacific Ocean. It's very cold. And this is what I'm doing. Don't think about the rest of it. So that's what I learned from Hell Week. That's what I learned from being in 3 Hell Weeks. That's what I learned from all the military. I went to Ranger School, I went to all the different schools to learn all of that. To learn how the mind processes. So I talk about theorists, I talk about practitioners. A theorist is a person who reads a book. Doesn't do it, reads a book, learns about something, and then talks about it. A practitioner is myself. A practitioner is a person like me. I want to be an expert in the mind. A mental toughness guy, beyond mental toughness. The only way to do that in my eyes is to put yourself in hell. Put it in hell, repeatedly. Repeatedly put yourself in hell and study how you process it. And that's how I was able to come up with all these different ways, all these different tools to slow the mind down in hell. Because the mind just speeds up. The mind wants to get out of the painful situation, the suffering. It can't process it. So that's what I realized by going through all these different processes of being in hell weeks. You know, it's just that. How the mind processes in hell. There's some times when the mind gets overwhelmed and you cannot slow it down. But by these certain tools I developed, by now allowing your mind to get away from the moment. You have to think about the exact moment that you're in. But I saw when I was younger, the moment became too big. When it became too big, I spazzed out and I would quit. And now I don't think about even like an hour from now I'll be eating. I don't even go there. Because then your mind, oh, no, we must embrace this because now you have to be a leader in this moment. Not about you just getting through it. I had 5 guys, 6 including me, in my boat crew. Now I was the boat crew leader. So now, another trick is this. If you don't think about yourself, there's no pain. Which can also lead to pain later on in your life. But in these moments when you're struggling, if you are a true leader and you're worried about your men or women beside you, your mind doesn't care how cold you are. Your mind's only worried about taking care of the men and women beside you. So I started realizing, man, I take care of these cats to my left and my right in the worst moments. My mind is no longer thinking about, you're miserable, David Goggins. Get the hell out of here. You think about, how was John? How was Andy? How was Sam? How was Pete? Hey, how you guys doing? You're not thinking about me. So there's so many things you can do to get outside your own head to then allow your body to say, hey, you're just a machine. But you have to let your mind be able to process all these different tactics. Take a different vantage point in life. When you're in the hell, you can't see the beauty of being in it when you're in it. Get on top of that mountaintop in your mind. Get on top of that mountaintop and look down on what you're doing. You can see a whole different world. That world is beautiful. But you got to get a different vantage point in this stuff. Don't be in it. Spiritually, get out of it. Get that soul. Look down on what you're doing. Be amazed by the process of where you're at and where you came from. I've had this mentality for years. It got me through a lot of hard times. You cannot use it every day of your life. You cannot use it.
Why aren't you the landlord? Yes, you. Why aren't you the landlord? Every day you go to and from work.
I use it as like, my God, this is the perfect, I found it. This is the trick. You just totally, you don't even matter. You're just a machine. You are a machine. That's just like a lever. That's all you are, man. You're not. You're not. And in my book, I talk about what that lever starts to get rusty. Starts to get crusty. It starts to, like, I can't even think about it when I reflect myself. So through the process, what I started to learn was that helps a lot. And you can tap into that to get to where you want to go. The amount of pain involved, I'm not saying physical. I'm not saying you got to break yourself off. The amount of mental pain of how many times you're going to have to do something that you don't want to do to get to where you want to go is going to be, there's going to be more times you do something that you don't want to do than you are going to want to do it. And that's your new norm. That's your new norm. So then it's like breathing. And then once you do this over and over and over again, it becomes like breathing. I don't want to live this lifestyle, but to get to the other side of this, I have to. If you really want it, you really know what trying is and what trying is not. So, well, the whole thing about it is that your mind has the ultimate tactical advantage over you.
Yes.
It knows your insecurities, it knows your fears, it knows your self-doubts, it knows all those creepy spots that we want to stay clear of. So our mind keeps us from those spots. That basically what you have to do is just look at yourself in the mirror. We are always, a lot of us are waiting for this magical thing to happen and fix our lives. Like, for instance, a lot of things damaged my life. It wasn't just all me. You know, it's your dad, it's your mom, it's your childhood, it's being bullied, it's so many things that we don't have a story. But what happens is we're always sitting in, I call it poopy pants.
Poopy pants.
Poopy pants. We're all sitting back, woe is me, kicking rocks down the street.
Yeah.
We're waiting for some magical miracle to happen to get fixed. And that's not going to happen.
And jump out of your comfort zone?
You have to do that. You have to face all these things because they're not all yours to own. When I was 16, 17 years old, I went to this mirror, looked at myself in the mirror, and I saw a person that I wasn't proud of. Mm-hmm. You have to call yourself out.
You want to be proud of yourself.
I want to be proud of myself. You need to call yourself out in a way that's not kind. Mm-hmm. We live in a very kind, gentle world. We have to find the right words for situations. You have to call yourself out for what it is and change the problem. You have to be real with yourself, real and raw with yourself to fix the problem. The next step where we're taking life is our next one. A lot of us get our feet stuck in concrete. We get our feet stuck in concrete because we're afraid. And the enemies. We're afraid of speaking on our mind. We're afraid of being in that group of people. And when you walk away, we're afraid of what you might say behind your back. All that fear clouds your brain, clouds your thinking. One thing in life, you're going to always have haters. Embrace it. If you can walk on water, trust me, the haters will say, you can walk on water because you can't swim. One thing, shut the noise out. Embrace the fact that people don't like you. We should do something right. So what you have to do first is turn up this voice over here. The voice saying things to you that aren't nice. That it's in our head. Say, you know what, man? You're not. I mean, it's not putting yourself down. And people take this the wrong way in this new society. I'm not saying to put yourself down. I'm saying listen to the truth. And the truth isn't in the 20%. The truth is in this other part of your brain saying, look, man, you're wasting a bunch of percentage here. We have 80 more percent that we're tapping into because in this other 80% is suffering, pain, failure, self-doubt, darkness, and then a whole bunch of light. But to get to this light, you gotta go through all of this shit. So all of us know that. We know, yeah, I can get over here. But over here, man, this is not better. Because I gotta go through this journey that is not fun. This from 20 to 100%, this in between is not fun. So we decided to live over here. Brad goes, how do you do that? You know exactly how to do it. You know exactly. It's not a magic trick. There's nothing to talk about in that book that's a magic trick. It's all back down to a very primitive mindset of we just have to do. It's like breathing. Breathing becomes normal. Like we don't know that we're doing it. That's how you have to live your life. When that alarm clock goes off at 4 or 5 in the morning, your mind says no. You just say, this is what we do.
They say, oh, throughout the day, your willpower, if you test it too many times, it gets weaker and weaker. And I actually don't believe that. I actually believe it gets stronger. Mine gets stronger. The more I hold the line, the stronger the hold is, the better the grip is. It's all together. It's all put together. When you wake up early and you get your workout in, you just stay on track. You're like, you know what? I'm not going to eat that food that I don't need right now. It's so much easier. But the day we're like, I woke up late and I didn't get my workout done, and you know what? There's the donut. And you break down.
Yeah.
So you want to use the discipline. Discipline enforces discipline.
Yeah.
More discipline makes more discipline. I think that when you stay strong, you get stronger. And when you break, like how often does this happen? I'll just have one bite of that donut.
For me, every single time.
And then you have that one bite of what happens.
Yeah,
that donut.
Yeah, every single one bite, 10 bites.
So that's what I'm saying. Stay strong. Hold your discipline in place. When you say no to the one bite, it's easier to say no to the whole donut.
Yeah.
When you say yes to the one bite, it's easier to say yes. So don't only use detachment to prevent your emotions from driving your decisions. Also, use detachment as part of your creative process to detach from your current thought pattern and move to a new thought pattern where you can create new ideas and different plans from different angles that were not seen from your previous vantage point.
Some people didn't understand when I say I'm training for life. 2020 was a perfect example of that. A lot of people lost jobs, lost businesses, lost family members. A lot of folks spend a lot of time in the hospital on ventilators. That's caused a lot of demons in your brain. Folks see how much I work out, and they think I'm running from demons. It's not demons, it's discipline. And I'm a disciple of discipline. You cannot run your demons. They'll always find you. Only way to beat them, mother, is look at them eye to eye and make them your mindset's the only thing that gets you through hard times.
And I say this to people all the time. Most important here is, it isn't me. It's you. And sure, you may have grabbed some little foothold from the podcast or from one of the books, but it isn't me that changes you, it's you. You set the small goals, you achieve those goals, then set some more and achieve those, and set some more goals, maybe a little bit bigger, but not that much bigger. You pay attention to the progress. This guy is 16 weeks deep, 30 pounds lighter, working harder, stronger, faster, more efficient, competitive. The individual that wrote that is getting after it and changing his life. And you can too. Just start with small. Start with changing tomorrow morning, just tomorrow morning. Get that squared away. And then move on to the next day and the next, and move your life to a better place. One little step. One little victory at a time. Well, first of all, you are lucky. Because if you're capable of working hard, then that's a blessing. That's luck. Because there's people all over the world that don't have the ability for any number of reasons. Many of those reasons being just bad luck, that they can't work. So right out of the gate, you're lucky that you can get up tomorrow and you can go to work. Now, you say you can't get a break. And maybe you're getting unlucky with your career or your personal life or your business. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to give up? Are you going to surrender? Are you going to assume that because you didn't catch a break today, there's no way you'll catch one tomorrow or next week or next year? Are you going to leave it all to chance? Or are you going to do everything in your power to force luck your way, to create opportunity, to shift the hands of fate? And even then, if the break never comes, even...
Gentlemen, welcome to the project. The project is a 75-hour experience. It's for men just like you who know that you're meant for more.
It's about finding energy and strength when you have none. Like a lot of times in life, like that situation right there, man, it's the worst time of your life. There's energy all around us, but we think that we have to have it. It has to come externally a lot of times. We gotta have like a TV in front of us, watch somebody, listen to a podcast, listen to a great music. A lot of times in life it's quiet. And those are the times when you want to run and hide. You gotta be able to find energy. You gotta make up games, make up tricks, make up whatever you can to get to the next evolution of life. So taking souls is just another way. It's not about hurting the person you're against. It's about finding a tactical advantage in every situation you physically can to get to the next. You're trying to inch further to the goal line. And you don't want to go to that goal line. The goal line is whatever it is for you. For me, I want to get too healthy. I want to get too healthy with my head up high, being strong. I don't know what the goal line is for everybody. My goal line has been very different for most people. But you're trying to find energy and strength to stay in the fight, to continue on until you get that second win. The second win is coming. Whatever the second win may be for you. It's coming. But what happens is we get so stressed out that the end is so far away that we just can't find another foothold, another handhold, so we jump off the cliff and we just fall. There's another one, you gotta find it, so taking souls is one way to do it. You grow up weak and you start to master your mind, because my whole thing is whenever I'm weak at something, whenever I'm scared of something, I master it. I was a weak-minded person, so I mastered my mind. And in mastering my mind, I mastered the human mind. And I realized why I no longer judge people, why I no longer put people on a pedestal, because we're all up in our way. We all have demons. Some people hide them better than other people. So I know we all have them. By me knowing that, I mean, the most alpha males are very fragile. Very fragile. They never want to see another person harder than them, especially in that kind of realm.
Ego attachment.
The ego,
Very strong.
Ego will f every time. Ego is serious. So if I can hurt your ego, I got you. So by me having such a fragile ego growing up, all this was my advantage. I was doing a lot of autopsy on how f***ed up I was. I was like, hey, this f***ed me up. I better tell people too. So I started using all these different tools and tactics to get in instructors' heads. And taking souls, that's where it happened, man. We're Wednesday, freezing and cold. Everybody's jackhammering. Everybody wants to, everybody's just want to get through it now.
Jackhammering is when you just can't stop shivering.
You can't stop shivering. You're sitting there just uncontrollably jackhammering. And the instructors take great pride in watching you suffer. They do. We, in a sick way, it's kind of funny. You were there once as a student. Now you're an instructor. But I knew, how would I be thinking if I was an instructor? I would love seeing this sadistic go on. But what wouldn't I like to see? I would hate to see some guys just looking like this is just another day on the beach and go f yourself. I would hate to see that. So
Because they don't want to think like when they did it, they were harder.
They were harder.
Yeah.
Everybody's hard. So I said, man, it's time. I can't fight you. You guys can fuck me up all day long. That's your job, and I love your job. I love what you guys are doing. You guys make us better. But now, I'm going to take the tactical advantage, and I'm going to start fucking with you. So I got my boat crew, Bill Brown. I had Chris Kyle on my boat crew, American Sniper. I had a couple of hardcore and everybody right now is kind of like in their own world. Let's just get through this, man. I can't wait till Friday so we can graduate home and get going. I said, let's go ahead and have some fun. I said, we're going to start with these guys. So the evolution here was we just got through a med check. We're stripped down to nothing. And they're checking us out, making sure we're good. Checking for pneumonia, checking for knees. My knees all jacked up. They're giving me shots. And I was like the boat crew leader of boat crew 2. So I'm in the front of the boat. And I tell our guys, this is what we're going to do. The boat's like on our heads. So all it was, we're supposed to lift the boats up above our head. That's all you got to do. But when you're this weak, you're this fragile, you're this tired, the boat's heavy. So there's a thing you can do when you do boat presses. You can get the boat, like just toss it up and catch it. And that shows like you're jacked up. So everybody's holding the boat and they're shaking, and the boat's starting to come down their head, and all the boat crews are all lined up and they're f***ed up. And I'm looking at that, and I turn around my boat and I say, hey guys, it's time to take some souls. They're like, what are you talking about? I said, we're going to see all the instructors out here, all in jackets and drinking coffee and laughing and smiling. I want their faces to go straight at them. So we're going to do this. We're going to start boat pressing this moment. Just take my lead, trust me, you get energy from it. We start throwing this boat up in the catchment, throwing up in the catchment. We start yelling, can't hurt the boat crew too. We're yelling our fucking ass off. And we're doing it. And they make it stop, like we stop. Now look at these instructors. And their faces literally look like someone just took their soul out. I know in their minds, like they're thinking about themselves. Like, what just happened, man? I know me on Wednesday, I couldn't have done it. How are they doing? So the rest of the time, going through Hell Week, it was like we owned it.
Right.
Boat Crew 2, we won every single race. We were just dominating, and it was a strong boat crew, and that's where Taking Souls is. There's a few Taking Souls stories, but that's one of them.
Yeah, and part of that is learning how to be a leader. Like when you're dealing with these alpha males and these huge egos, there's this tendency to just try to outshine the next guy, right? You tell an example, there's another guy who kind of proceeds along
Hi,
that
Mike,
path,
I have an announcement.
and he realizes
Low
very
battery.
quickly that he's not going to make it because he doesn't know how to build camaraderie.
Hi, Mike, I have an announcement. Low battery.